Why do so many wealthy men think the same way? Different countries, different industries, different lives. Yet when you listen closely, their mindset sounds identical. Calm under pressure, unaffected by opinions, patient when everyone else is rushing. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's something much deeper. A philosophy that's been around for over 2,000 years, yet quietly shapes the way modern wealth is built. Stoicism. From Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius to modern-day entrepreneurs and investors, the same patterns keep appearing. And here's the uncomfortable truth. While the wealthy train themselves to think this way, most people are conditioned to think the exact opposite. And that difference, it changes everything. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless, it's about control. Control over your reactions, your decisions, your focus. At its core, Stoicism teaches one simple rule: control what you can, ignore what you can't. That's it. But almost nobody actually lives like this. Most people worry about opinions, stress over outcomes, and react emotionally to everything around them. Stoics don't, and neither do wealthy, high-performing individuals, because when you remove distraction, when you remove emotional chaos, you create clarity, and clarity is where power begins. Most people spend their lives chasing money, chasing attention, chasing opportunities. And ironically, the more they chase, the further it gets. But rich men think differently. They don't chase, they attract. Instead of asking, how do I get more? They ask, how do I become more valuable? They build skills, they build discipline, they build systems. And over time, opportunities start coming to them, because value is magnetic. Desperation, on the other hand, repels everything. You can feel it in people, the neediness, the urgency, the lack of control. And markets, people, and opportunities, they all move away from that energy. Stoicism removes that desperation. It teaches you to focus on the process, not the outcome. And when you stop chasing, you start positioning. That's when things begin to change. Most financial mistakes are emotional. Panic selling, impulse buying, greedy decisions. It's never logic that destroys people, it's emotion. And Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. If you cannot control your mind, you are controlled by it. Wealthy individuals train emotional control like a skill. When markets crash, they stay calm. When opportunities appear, they don't rush blindly. They think, because in moments where others react, they respond. And that gap is where money is made. Imagine two people in the same situation. One panics, the other stays still. Who makes the better decision? Who sees the opportunity? Who wins long term? It's always the one in control. And that's why emotional discipline is financial power. Most people are addicted to immediacy, fast money, quick results, instant success. But wealth doesn't work like that. Wealth is slow, it compounds, and it rewards patience more than anything else. Stoics think in years, sometimes decades. They understand something most people don't. Time is the real asset. While others jump from trend to trend, they stay consistent. While others quit, they keep going. Because they're not chasing results, they're building systems. And systems create outcomes automatically over time. The rich aren't smarter, they're just more patient. And in a world where everyone wants everything now, patience becomes a competitive advantage. Most people are controlled by what others think. They post for validation, they act for approval, they hesitate because of judgment. But Stoics reject this completely. They understand other people's opinions are outside your control and therefore irrelevant. Wealthy individuals operate the same way. They don't build to impress, they build to win. Because chasing status is expensive. It leads to bad decisions, short-term thinking, and constant distraction. Real power comes from indifference. When you no longer need approval, you become dangerous, because now you act based on logic, not validation. And that's when real progress begins. Most people hope life will be easy. Stoics prepare for it to be hard. This is called premeditation malorum, the practice of anticipating problems before they happen. Not to be negative, but to be ready. Wealthy individuals think this way constantly. They ask, what could go wrong? What's the worst-case scenario? How do I prepare for it? So when challenges appear, they're not surprised, they're prepared. While others panic, they execute. And that difference, it turns obstacles into opportunities. Because if you expect nothing to go wrong, you're fragile. But if you expect difficulty, you become resilient. Motivation feels good, but it doesn't last. Discipline does. Stoics don't rely on how they feel, they rely on what must be done. Wealthy individuals operate the same way. They don't wake up excited every day, they don't always feel driven, but they show up anyway. Because consistency beats intensity every time. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive outcomes over time. While others wait to feel ready, they act. And over months, years, that gap becomes enormous. Success isn't built on bursts of effort, it's built on discipline. Most people talk too much. They announce their plans, share their moves, seek attention. Stoics do the opposite. They observe, they listen, they think. Wealthy individuals understand something powerful. Silence creates leverage. When you speak less, you reveal less. When you observe more, you learn more. And when you move quietly, you move strategically. Noise is for attention. Silence is for power. And in a world full of constant distraction, those who think deeply always have the advantage. This is where most people fail. They become attached to results, to money, to success, and that attachment creates fear. Fear of losing, fear of failing, fear of trying. Stoics eliminate this. They focus only on effort, not outcomes, because outcomes aren't fully in your control. Wealthy individuals think the same way. They take risks without emotional attachment. If it works, great. If it fails, they adjust. But they don't break, because their identity isn't tied to results. And that freedom allows them to take bigger, smarter risks, which leads to bigger rewards. So, when you look at how rich men think, it's not random, it's structured. Control over emotions, discipline in action, patience over time, detachment from outcomes. This is Stoicism, and it's been here all along. The difference is, most people ignore it. They chase noise, they react emotionally, they think short-term. But a small percentage, they think differently. And that difference compounds over time into wealth, power, and freedom. Because wealth isn't just money, it's mindset. So the question is, will you keep thinking like everyone else, or start thinking like the few?